Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kaye of the Demetra Kaye Show here on YouTube. And obviously, you see me here on the African Diaspora News Channel. So thank you so much for joining me here for about 45 minutes or so. We're going to have a very, very interesting show. I will say that we're going to be talking about Assemblyman Lyin Bryan being confronted for selling Black Californians out over reparations bill. Now, this particular information and video was sent to me by Africa Town Coalition. So right off the top, I want to thank that Brother Raymond, who you will hear in the video confronting Isaac Bryan at Knott's Presbyterian Church. And then I also want to thank Sister Brandy, who often sends me information from California, because they are definitely boots on the ground and they are not staying up off of Isaac Bryan as they should, right? They should stay on him. And I'll get into all the reasons as to why they are on his bumper. Of course, we want to thank Brother Billion, Zeno, Victoria, and Craig for all that they do and keeping before us, especially, right, in California and all over the United States, as to what the California Legislative Black Caucus did and did not do for Black Californians when it came down to reparations. So we're going to get into all that, but I just want to say thank you and salute to them, because they are they keeping the heat on them. So once again, thank you. So also, that while we're here, I'll do like 15, 20 minutes of speaking, and then I'll give y'all the rest in the comment section to ask me any questions, comments, or concerns that you may have. Also, while we're waiting for more people to come in, as you can see there at the bottom, we have an app, African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on your Play Store on your phone. Of course, it is for us, by us, Black owned, right? That disseminates Black information all over the diaspora, because, you know, you could turn on, you know, CBS, NBC, Fox, or whatever it is, and they'll talk about us a little bit. And normally they don't talk about us the way we want them to, right? But who gonna talk about us like we gonna talk about us, right? We're gonna give you it like it is. We're not gonna water it down, because we need news sources that focus on us, not, you know, when we're doing something bad, or, you know, just for clicks and views, like it is for the what they call the legacy media. I don't know if that's what they're called, mainstream media. So yeah, if you would, and if you have already, thank you so much for doing that. But if you haven't, what you waiting on? So anyway, who do we have here? Joven, what's going on with you? Mike Nice in the building. I always love to see you on my channel and on here. So yes, today is my last day here. Not ever, right? But this week is my Friday for everything that I do. I'm normally off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or kind of halfway Sunday, to rest my little brain, because it needs a little bit of a rest. But I'll be back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Of course, y'all, please make sure y'all stay tuned for all of the contributors here on this wonderful platform, because they are bringing you news from all over the place. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started for the sake of time. So anyway, as you guys may or may not know, last year, hey, Billion, how you doing? And thank you so much for all that y'all do. So anyway, of course, y'all remember, well, we can go back to 2020. Where there was this study that was supposed to be put together, you know, for reparations for Black Californian descendants of slavery, right? So everybody was kind of excited, like, word, really? We finna get a study? Because, you know, they was talking about, let's see what is old and all that. So this study went on, I don't know, 3 or 4 years or so. And then when it came down to it in August of last year, to take the bills before Gavin Newsom to either pass them or veto them, well, you know the story. The California Legislative Black Caucus was like, we ain't gonna do none of the above. But let's go to last night, where Assemblyman Isaac Bryan, of course, y'all know, we talk about him a lot. Well, when I say we, mostly me, right? Because I said I was gonna dedicate all the way up until re-election to let everybody know what they did to, when I say us in California, because I'm a Californian, but what they did to us. But yeah, so last night, you know, he's getting ready for campaign season. But y'all know, y'all seen him romping and stomping all over, especially this last summer for illegal immigrants. You know, he was marching in the streets, screaming and hollering, you know, it's not right. Of course, he takes Trump to task and all this other stuff. And he also participates in the benign neglect of Black Americans, right? Especially those of us who want our money, right? He ain't hardly said a peep. But now that election season, when I say election season 2026, because from what I understand, they are reelected every 2 years. Oh, you know, they got to start campaigning rather early to get out there and say, hey, big head, remember me? So, of course, he went to a church went to a church, and I'm gonna let y'all see it from here.
You didn't mention you block reparations for black people, Bryan. You didn't mention that. You a sellout. You a traitor to the black community. You didn't mention you block reparations for black people, Bryan. We gonna vote you out. You a sellout. You sell out the black community. You a sellout. You block reparations for black people. We gonna vote you out. Sellout, Bryan. Walking right here. It's the sellout that blocked reparations for black people last year, right over here. That's the sellout that blocked reparations for black people right over there. Pass it. One sellout, how nigga going? One sellout, Uncle Tom going right over there. Yep, there he is right over here. He didn't mention anything about reparations though. And we gonna vote as a body too. The sellout is.
All right, so as you saw there, yes, the town hall meeting per se was half empty, and from what I understand, it was African Town Coalition that took up mostly the front row, so it wasn't really even no people in there like that from the community to go see him, because I believe, along with African Town Coalition, that the word is spreading that Isaac Bryan means Black Californians no earthly good at all. But you know, he's typical. He does what they all do, right? They ignore Black people their whole time in office, and then when it gets close for them to be reelected, they say, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, I still do need Black votes, right? So I'm gonna show up, and you know, the first place they go is the church. They go up in the church. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? But as they said, he didn't even speak about reparations. But listen, the West remembers, right? The West Coast remembers. We remember that you, Isaac Bryan, took it upon yourself to not take up what the findings were in the study to Gavin Newsom so he can make a decision on it. Now, we know that he was blocking, along with the other California Legislative Black Caucus members. They were blocking for Big Daddy Gavin because they didn't want him to have to be the bad guy, right? So they do what most, you know, as they say, sellouts. I'll be nice because I got to be nice on here, dude. They're like, I do it, master. Don't you worry. I'll make sure you don't even have to get in the middle of this. That's exactly what they did, because how is it that you got Black Californians believing that y'all gonna go in there, y'all gonna say, hey, governor, here you go. Next move is yours. How is it? I mean, it was a lobby full of Black Californians, you know, hopeful and trying to see what was gonna be the next move. And these suckers didn't even do anything about it. Well, a lot of y'all have seen this next video trending shortly after, right? Now, this is also Isaac Bryan.
Assemblyman, Mr. Bryan, he's mad I brought up the reparations vote. So he's preventing me from speaking. And he's trying to block my access here. Why are you so upset?
You vote for 3 strikes. You put Black folks in prisons, but
here
now
for
you
3
want to be a reparations person.
Well,
But you won't vote for the bill. I supported the bill all session.
Then bring the bill.
Will you vote for the bill, Mr.
Bring the bill.
Will you vote for the bill?
Bring it up.
Will you vote for reparations?
Bring it up.
I would love it.
Bring it up.
Let's vote for reparations
Bring
together.
It up. Bring it up.
You in, Bill?
Bring it up.
I didn't think so.
Bring it up. I'll vote for it. Bring it up. I'll vote for it.
So, of course, you see there, that was Mr. Isaac Bryan getting caught by then Assemblyman Bill Esseley. I think he works for the Trump administration now, but he was there. He said, as he told it, you know, he heard a lot of commotion and stuff in the lobby. So he went out there, right? It was like, what y'all doing, for lack of better words? And they was like, yo, we waiting for the California Legislative Black Caucus to, you know, put the reparations bill. Now they were concerning a Freedmen's Bureau and the money, right? We're waiting for him and the rest of them to ask Gavin Newsom to make a decision on it. And Bill was like, they not doing that. They up in there walking around, twiddling their thumbs, you know, and acting like, you know, it's just a regular old day, right? They don't even act like y'all out here waiting for them to do that. So, of course, Bill Esseley went up in there and he broke out his camera and he confronted Isaac Bryan. Was like, what you doing, man? I talked to them outside and they say y'all supposed to be putting a reparations bill or two, right? But before Governor Newsom. And of course, you saw Isaac Bryan, he kind of like a deer in headlights because he caught, right? Deflecting. Oh, you know, what about the 3 strikes law? I was like, man, we ain't here for that. We're not here for the 3 strikes law. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And Bill Esseley, to me, he seems rather young, like Isaac Bryan. So I don't know how old he would have been when the 3 strike law was going on or whatever the case is. But it's like, even if that was the case, what are you talking about, sir? What does that have to do with you and your homies in the California Legislative Black Caucus not bringing these bills to the floor when you told everybody you were going to do that? And of course, when they got caught, we saw the other videos of some of the members. I think most of them or a lot of them aren't there anymore, walking out, nah, type thing, like what you gonna do about it type of stuff. But then they also came out and said, oh, well, this is a multi-year study. It's like, well, what was that? Y'all started this in 2020. What was that? That wasn't that multi-years? So you mean, you know, we got to wait a little bit more? Now, of course, y'all know y'all ain't heard them say nothing about it. Well, I don't want to be disingenuous. Recently, they had some other reparations bills that were vetoed by Governor Newsom, but there wasn't no money on those bills. And it also included everybody else type of thing. But you had Isaac Bryan, a couple of other people, you know, really excited about these reparations bills. That was just a bunch of nothing is what it was. But yeah, they making a decision whether they gonna, you know, it needs to be studied some more type stuff. It's like, man, if you don't get your bald head self out of here, you have no interest in studying these bills at all, right? So again, he's busted. So let's remove him. Now, I was, you know, walking around his Instagram page just a little bit, and he had this to say about people and being Democrats.
The folks who don't identify first as a Democrat, maybe somewhere in the collection of ways that they see themselves, they do, or maybe they're thinking about it because they're not sure which party is serving them effectively. That's who you really need to be speaking to. And the way you speak to those folks is by staying consistent, by staying rooted in the struggles that everyday people are facing, staying authentic, and sometimes just ignoring the polling when you know that something is right.
Okay, so as you heard him say there, I guess he was asked a question in regards of how do you, get people to be Democrats, and it's like, why would you want to be that? Like I said, I ain't gonna lie to kick it. I used to be a Democrat way back when, but I'm not no more. I'm what you call an independent, nonpartisan, like most people should be. So I guess he's talking about steering the independent vote to being Democrat. So he used some words that just really made me cringe when it comes to coming out of his mouth. So, you know, he basically says, well, you know, we got to stay consistent. It's like, who is this we you talking about, homie? Because when you say consistent, I think about this reparations studies and all the stuff that was going on in California where you were consistently saying, yeah, we're studying. We're trying to get to the meat of it and see what's going on. But then you took yourself in there with your homies and then didn't even take the bills to the floor at all. So where is the consistency in that? Right now, one thing I will say is that they're consistent in is lying to black folks and gaslighting and all that other stuff. So let's give him credit for being consistent with that. Then he used the word authentic. It's like, who you talking to? You talk about you? So anytime you say, you know, that's why they say politicians, because they're not authentic. They are, well, let me take that back a little bit. They are authentic to everybody else except for Black Americans, right? And we know that the Democrats cannot get in office. They cannot even win dog catcher of the year without Black voters. Right? But yet they are authentic to everybody else. And to us, well, we gonna wait and see. Well, you know, we tried. And, you know, nowadays, like I said, for the last couple of months or so, Isaac Bryan wasn't even talking to Black people. He was out there hoorahing for the illegal immigrants, especially when Trump and Tom Homan and ICE and them, they ran up and through LA during the summer with all those big old ICE raid protests. He was right there in the middle of it. But I didn't see him protesting because, you know, Black Californians need reparations. I ain't seen him lace up his boots, his Jordans, or anything to get in the streets and talk about what the horrors of being a Black descendant of slavery there in California. I haven't seen him do it. And, you know, like they said, he took himself up into that church and didn't mention reparations at all. I wonder why. Why didn't you mention reparations? Because you aren't ready to have that conversation, because we know that you aren't even interested in pursuing reparations for Black Californians, because we know that now reparations is just like that carrot on a string type of thing. If we just mention it and then we talk about a study and all this other stuff, that keeps Black descendants of slavery hopeful, right? That's the kind of like the slogan of the Democrat Party, hope and change. And as I say, you know, we gonna hope for change that we ain't gonna never get. You know, they'll give us hope, but they'll never want to give us change. And he knows that. So again, he shows up to a church for what? What you showing up for? Now, I know the black church is the place to go to because if we go back to South Carolina when Joe Biden was running, we know that Joe Biden, his campaign wasn't doing well, right? He was kind of trending in last place. Well, Representative Jim Clyburn got up there in that church and he says, listen here, Negroes, this is a fine, good white man here. And we need to vote for him. And then, South Carolina put Joe Biden back in the mix, and the rest is history. He became president of the United States. So we know that the black church is the place to go because there's a whole lot of schools of thought, if you will, in the black church. And we know, as I always say, the black church is synonymous with the Democrat Party. It just is, right? They kind of think the same. They act the same when it comes to the black community. But I'm glad to see that people, for whatever reason, didn't show up. But I'm glad that African Town Coalition showed up. And they're going to show up every time to let them know we ain't forgot. And we ain't going to forget. And we're going to continue to remind everybody. Every time you want to open your mouth, especially the black community there in California, talking about, oh, come vote for me. Yeah. And he represents a portion of Los Angeles, I should say. But every time, they need to show up on them and let them know you ain't safe nowhere. Now, when I mean safe, we're going to be here to remind everybody of what you did. See, you really like a fox in the hen house, because that's kind of what I envisioned when he went to that church. Oh, maybe they ain't going to know. But see, the other problem is this with us as black community. We do have a short-term memory, right? Politicians and stuff, they usually do is dirty. And then all they got to do is off right in there with fish fries, some twerking to the poles, all that other stuff. And we show up, but some tell me this time is different, So again, shout out to the brothers and sisters there in Los Angeles, California, letting Isaac Bryan know, if it's up to us, you'll never be reelected. So anyway, let me see what you guys got to say. Thank you for bearing with me. But I just absolutely love that they are taking him to task. They are not letting him up for air. And as he said, he almost got into an accident trying to get out of there, It's like, what's the hurry, homie? You don't want to stay and answer no questions? Like, we got questions. We can vote for you. We're constituents or whatever. We want to know, like, with them, right? What's in it for me? What's in it for us as black Californians to keep you in office? So let's see what y'all got to say. Thank you for bearing with me here. Going all the way back up to the top. Moves, how you doing? Says, oh yeah, can't wait to hear what happened here. Well, hopefully you saw all of that, right? Text War, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It's going fabulous. I cannot complain. Jovian says, it's your day, Lyin. Bryan. Yeah, it needs to be his day, his week, his month, right? He should not be back in the office. Now I get it. California says less than 6% black population. So black Californians are a little bit embattled, but not necessarily. Still a lot of black people in California. I'm sure there's a lot in his district, right? And they just need to keep being reminded, hey, he don't care about you. He care about people who shouldn't even be over here. Illegal immigrants. That's where his focus is not you. He only is going to care about you long enough to tell you to show up to vote for him, because he still needs black votes. We ain't done yet in California. You also say you already know African Town Coalition in the building. Yes, indeed. And y'all should be there every time, right? Texture says Isaac Bryan sounds like an Jones, an opportunist who talks black to get power and then leaves us in the dust. Yeah, but he's following the blueprint, right? That's the blueprint of politicians, especially black ones. I don't know. I just think they probably got their marching orders even when they were running the first time. Give them hope, but never change, right? Give them all that hope, the little symbolism and stuff, the carrot dangling on a stick, but don't you ever give them change, because if you give them change, then they might wake up and say, we don't really need the Democrats like that, because we could, do for self and all that other stuff. But they need us to be dependent on that little bit of hope that they give us. Because let's keep it real, they haven't done anything for black. Just all over the United States, they haven't done anything for black Americans. I don't know. I can't think of when specifically, right? Where they said this here is for black Americans only. Y'all tell me when the last time that was, especially from the Democrat Party. Right? Moose says that brother sounded like he took that seriously. Yeah, everybody should take it seriously, especially in California, because you wasted time and you wasted millions of dollars on that funky study that they were never intended on doing anything with in the first place. That was all a dog and pony show protecting Gavin Newsom, right? So of course we hear about he's trying to run for president. Yeah, black people, we need to remember that. That's what he, along with the California Legislative Black Caucus, did to Black Californians who need that reparations check and that Freedmen Bureau, right? Brandy. And of course, Miss Brandy is the one that gave me the information that she always does. Again, boots on the ground. So I love and appreciate every last one of y'all for that. You say they were trying to get out that parking lot so bad. Of course they were, right? Because, you know, I don't know why he don't even think y'all going to show up. He should just assume that you guys are going to show up, right? So with that, be prepared to answer some questions. Even if he don't like the questions that are being asked, he should be able to answer that. Like, do you really think that nobody's going to ask you about reparations and what y'all did? Y'all being a California Legislative Black Caucus? Like, why would you? Because, again, we do forget sometimes. Sister Sunlight, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Moose says, so go ahead and explain what he did. So hopefully you saw that. Sigma, how you doing? Says Black people are done in California. Yeah, it's not a lot of us like there used to be, but our hope is not gone yet, right? Because they still need the people that are there to show up or whatever the case is, and the people that are there, they can swing those votes to other people, right? So you don't want to, give up on Black Californians just yet, but yeah, and largely because we just can't afford to live there like that. Nobody really can unless you just got a bunch of money to live in California. It's many people are being priced out, which is why those reparations would have been helpful, right, to keep us there and all that. So yeah. Brandy, you say, and make sure, did I get all the, okay, text, she says, Isaac Bryan sounds like Van Jones, an opportunist who talks Black to get power and then leaves us in the dust. Oh yeah, they all the time. Brandy said his security was recording us the whole time, and at the end, 3 cars of sheriffs showed up walking swiftly into the town hall. Well, what do you call the police on you for? What you call the police on people for? Because some tells me they did. What is that all about? Or somebody in the church? Why? I'm here as part of the community to see what you got going on. A town hall is a public event. You didn't say it was private. It wasn't. Something like that is usually public. So what you calling the police for? We got questions. You don't want nobody asking you questions. You don't want people asking you certain questions. What you want them to ask you. So how's the weather? Did you have a nice drive here? Like, what did you show up for? The gaslight. I heard he was talking about, the rent is too high and all this other stuff. I was like, well, if you would have wrote a reparations check for Black Californians, the people you was talking to, that wouldn't have been an issue. Now would have been. So yeah. Tex says he's being selfish by not helping the reparations cause. He's not supposed to, right? We know that especially Black Democrats, that's not their job. They're just there to say, I'm Black like you. I was Black too. But that's as far as the commonality goes. They're not there to do anything for Black people at all. It's their symbolism in and of itself. Their job is to do for everybody else further the Democrat machine, but leave Black people behind. That's their job, right? Let's also text. You saw the video of him crossing his arms, acting stank. Brandy says, see the pats on the back. Yeah, I saw that. Everybody kind of comforting him after he got called out. I was like, what you patting him on the back for? He needs something else, and ain't a pat on the back. Albie Chill, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Mike, stay sucker free. Jarrell, what's going on with you? Says Brandy Kane is the truth. Thanks for sharing all day. Like I said, that's what real boots on the ground look like. All y'all who are out there, that's boots on the ground. That's what it means to show up and be present and be heard, right? Not just bumping your gums and your thumbs. Show up and let them know, I know what you did last summer. And we ain't gonna forget. Like, I know they used to that, but nah, this time is different. We're not gonna forget, the real Jesus is Black Hebrew. How you doing? Says, you say we love, me and Donovan love Master Trump. Well, we learned it from your mama. Anyway, Brandy says, yeah, AB7 is a nothing burger. All of that is the recent ones, right? They're just, and they know most people aren't going to read them. Most people aren't going to read those reparations bill. And so you got other people who, in my opinion, have no business championing those bills. Like, why are y'all championing those bills? Did you read them? But see, the problem is they know most people won't read them. Most of those bills, it left room for it says others and others, right? I think other groups or other something, but it left room for others. So how is that bill for Black Californian descendants of slavery and then you slip in others? Because they know we ain't going to read it, right? They know, we'll just take their word for it. But I read them. Rand, how you doing? Says all talk only for illegals and immigrants. Yeah, but see, I bet you he wasn't at that church talking like that, was he? Oh, we need to romp and stomp for the illegal immigrants. I bet you he didn't say nothing like that. I wasn't there, but someone would tell me he wasn't saying, you know what, y'all gotta really show up, get out there in the streets, and put on your boots for illegal immigrants because they are a part of the community. I guarantee you, he wasn't up in there saying that. I know he wasn't. Let's see the real. Okay. Marshada, how you doing? Says black misleadership is the pits. Yeah, it ain't what it used to be. When I say what it used to be, I'm talking about way long time ago, where they cared. They don't care anymore because they kind of got us right. We're creatures of habit. Well, I'm gonna vote for the Democrats because my mama said so. My daddy said so. My great grandmama and all of them, they was all Democrats. So that's what I am. Even like he was saying, ways to get people to be Democrats. We got to be consistent and authentic. It's like, don't you ever have those words come up out your mouth? Because you are not that. Okay. And it's good that more people are abstaining from the Republicans and the Democrats. We should all be independent. Nobody should ever be able to assume our votes. Right. A child of God, how you doing? Yeah, he's still in office and he's trying to stay in there, which is why he showed himself up to the church. Hello, y'all. How you doing? I know I neglected you, but I'm going to show up every once in a while to remind you that when you show up, it's the name right? It's Isaac Bryan. I'll do nothing for you. I won't. I'll keep on, ignoring and neglecting the black community, especially if you get me back in there. I'll pretend like I don't know you. I'll run from you at town halls and all kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm going to show up for everybody else, though. Everybody. So, yeah. You also say the fact that he can show himself in the black community says a lot about where we are as a people. Well, I think that's going to change because every time he shows up, Africatown Coalition shows up. Hello, how you doing? Oh, you thought we wasn't going to be here? I mean, he could be at a parade. He could be at and then he show up at the Taste of Soul or something like that. And it was on his bumper. So it's like, yeah, where you go, we going to be. The real Jesus gone somewhere. If he was the real Jesus, then you wouldn't be messing with me, okay? Go get on the cross somewhere. I don't know. Brandy says he was a foster kid and grew up in a multi-ethnic family, so that explains some of his apathy toward blackness. Yeah, I understand his adopted mama is white, whatever the case is, and it sounds like he had some siblings that were different races and things. So yeah, that has a lot to do with it, but don't be talking black then. Don't talk about reparations if you don't mean it. It's not authentic. Text says independent, or does he mean the black vote, those who won't vote for the Dems or Republicans? I'm sure that's what he means, right? Because they assume that all black people should be Democrats, and we shouldn't. Brandy says we have to get him out. It says Billion's godson will replace him. So yes, Billion is running against him, and we need to know a little bit more about him so I could talk about him as well. Because yeah, Isaac Bryan does not need to hold on to that seat at all. It's done. The rest of them done. Corey Jackson, he's more close to the area that I'm from, in IE. That sucker right there, boy. He don't mean black Americans no earthly good either. Spock in the year 2575. Okay. Yeah. Robert, how you doing? He says, forget identity politics. We need to be strategic with our vote. Yep. Absolutely. And Billion, speaking of which, he says his district is 2/3 non-black, and he gets a lot of support from the liberal Jews, immigrants in those areas. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. But it's like, all right, then why are you showing up to black churches and stuff? If you can get most of your votes from them, why are you showing up in the black church, especially if you're not going to do nothing for him? Because again, he still needs those votes. He still needs black votes. I don't care if it's 1, 2, or 3 of them. He still needs it. The black vote is not totally done in California. If case in point, if he didn't need the black votes, he wouldn't have been there. And he'll show up at more black, places and spaces. He will. Thinking that that black Californians forgot. It's like, no. Why should we forget that? Brandy says, wasn't hardly nobody there in that room. Yeah, and, a lot of that, too, is because it's kind of early for, I guess, campaigning. I don't know. And the state and local elections usually have a little bit of a lower voter turnout. But I don't know. A lot of that probably is, too, is like, what we going to show up for? What's in it for us to do that? Yes, Queen, how you doing? Says peace to the family. Yes, indeed. Kareem, how you doing? Says where were there studies when they gave the Jews reparation? Now you know the answer to that. You know I wasn't. You know, and for a whole host of reasons. You know. Joven, he says the order. He says the order to carrot on the stock reparations came directly from the DNC top. So you're basically saying the order to dangle the carrot. Of course, you know. I don't know the sister's name, but when y'all found out that they weren't going to take the votes to get the bills rather to Gavin Newsom, I don't know the sister's name, but she said, "Your homegirl, we gonna basically make her pay for that." Your homegirl being Kamala Harris, right? And it looks like that happened. Lyin, how you doing? Says, remember he was laughing when the California Black reparations bill was vetoed by California Gavin Newsom. Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily him. It was another cat. I can't think of his name. He was kind of walking out going, you know, like nah type of thing. But yeah, that was Isaac Bryan with his arms crossed, you know. Yes, Queen says, so proud of the family. Love from the Bay. Yes, indeed. Well, I appreciate you, Billion, and all of y'all for doing the work that a lot of people just won't do. It is really much appreciated. Y'all are keeping the eyes and the ears open to what they did or did not do. So we love and appreciate you for sure for that. Brandon says, yeah, he didn't mingle with the crowd at all. So you're talking about when he was in the lobby or whatever it is. And let me skip down a little bit so I could catch up a little bit. Inquisitor, you says, and how you doing? Says they're all on Skid Row, homeless. It's done. Well, not all Black Californians. My whole family is from California and still there. Not all, you know, probably not far from it, which is why those bills were very important. We needed those bills, you know. It's not a handout. It's a debt that's due to us. Not just Californians, but all over the United States. It's a debt that's owed, you know. It's hard for us to live anywhere. Institutional and systemic racism makes that possible, which is very prevalent there in California. So yeah. Herschel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sunlight says flip California red should be a thing. They trying. They're trying to flip it red, although I don't know if red is necessarily the solution. I just, for me, think whoever's going to do what they say they're going to do, that's conducive for everybody. That's who should be in office. Who's going to do the job and make sure everybody is, you know, happy. And then, yeah, we want our money. We being Black descendants of slavery, we want our money. It's not if, it's when. You're going to run us the check, so you might as well do it, you know. You also say Van Jones doesn't talk Black, in my opinion. Nah, he kind of weird. I don't know. At one point, I thought maybe he was a Trump supporter. I don't know. It just, I'll say this. He seems to be kind of bought and paid for, more obvious than most of them are, right? I'll say that. Brandy says he didn't have the Crips and Bloods with him this time. Is that who he rolled with? For real? Maybe somebody need to pull their coattail, you know, to him. Joven says he also had the police called when he was blocking the reparations bill at the Capitol. So, you know, he romping and stomping for Black people, you know, talking about police brutality, but he called them. Just a sucker. Black women stand up. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. On deck, what's going on? It says the Blacks who are for immigration are not FBA. Yeah, you know, let's keep it about there are immigrants here that are here legally, but you know, the way it was being done under the Biden administration, just letting any and everybody come over here and they was getting stuff too. Nah. But you're right. We got to be about our community. It doesn't mean we hate everybody else, but we got to be about us first. We've been told to do that for a very long time. And for whatever reason, it took us a long time to get here, but we here, right? Albert Chill says, I'd invite him to the dojo to offer a nice pat on the back. I don't know if he'll accept that offer. Nicey girl, thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. Thank you. And Brandy says, and they said it took his 4 months to come to that meeting. Yeah, he probably begrudgingly went. He's probably waiting for the smoke to clear, right? I know African Town is going to be over our bumper, right? It's like, yeah, we ain't going to forget. We're going to be there. Every little step you take, we're going to take it right with you. And I love it. Sound like which rebuttal? Because, you know, I be saying all kind of stuff. Nicey girl, you says he goes where there's a lot of elders that are unfamiliar about the reparation sabotage. And yeah, and we love our elders, right? And I say I'm like not too far from being one myself. But they're kind of like, well, we kind of got ours, you know. the civil rights, that's all we kind of cared about. We wanted to be able to live next door to them and eat in a restaurant and all of that other stuff. So they kind of feel like they got theirs. They kind of feel like that's reparations. You know, the Jim Clyburn and a couple of the Republicans and things talk about Obama was reparations. What else do you want? You got a black president. You know, it's like, okay, got a black president that ignored us too. So yeah. Good point. Billion, you say he was too scared to come to the Taste of Soul and the King Day Parade. So which I saw y'all run up on him somewhere. I'd imagine he wasn't going to the Taste of Soul because that's where a lot of us hang out at, right? Let's see. Brandy said Billion is a brilliant brother, longtime activist and reparations. Yeah, we need to talk about him more. Get his platform up and running, you know, so people can know that he's an option to vote for. Because otherwise, you know, people show up and say, well, Isaac Bryan, that name sounds familiar. I'll vote for that, which they shouldn't. Princess, how you doing? Says, it's sad to see Isaac turn his back on the people who brought him to the seat. That's what they do, though, right? Says, I know Billion will be a real representation for the 55th district. Nominate him for state assembly. Well, come on, let's get his platform up and running so we can talk about it, right? But yeah, that's what they do, though. They turn their backs. They get in. And then, unfortunately, they stay in because we don't show up to say, all right, that's enough, buddy. That's enough. You only going to get to do that to us one term, right? They get to stay in it, and then 2 years becomes 10, and then 20 and 30. If they can run that long, I don't know about the assembly people, but yeah, they stay in forever. Or they transition, you know, to being a representative or a senator or somewhere where you really can't get them out of there. So yeah, Jovan says, Lyin Bryan is bought and paid for. To house, straight up. Nicely, girl. He says the African Coalition refused to allow Isaac and the California Legislative Black Caucus to forget his treasonous action. He should never forget. You also say there wasn't a lot of people there, and the ones that were there were older. Yeah, you know, they show up. Let's go on to see what he got to say. You know, God love them, but they need to be educated too. He ain't what it is. You know, he don't mean the older Black Americans any good either. At all. He just wants their votes. That's it. You know? And that also shows you too, he don't really feel safe around his own people. I mean, I get the security thing, but you show up with an entourage like that, what you scared of? You know? Jova says he's showing up because he's following DNC orders and playbook. Yeah, he probably really don't want to do that, right? Say, let's understand there's a difference between the Black vote and the Black Democrat vote. That, you know what? I like that. That's a really good point. Brandy said Billion Godson is a co-founder of African Coalition, a strong, respected alpha man. I know that's right. He says he didn't hit the lobby. He left out the side door with the security. Then hella sheriff's cars came. So you're talking about Isaac Bryan. What a coward. Just a coward. You know, you're afraid of your own people. That's what I see. Right? And Darren, how you doing? Says Flip California Red. Say that's goofy, whatever. I don't know. I just think that the Democrats, I don't think any party should assume anybody's vote. I think everybody should be independent so they'll have to work for it, you know, because that's who they really fight the hardest for anyway. It's kind of the independent vote because the independent vote swings. So everybody should be independent. Every party should really get in there and work for the vote and, you know, work to keep it. You know, they shouldn't just stay in office because they're a Democrat or they're a Republican. That's just kind of how I see it. Sunlight says flipping red is a strategy, not a solution. I agree with that. Extreme X, how you doing? Yeah, you put up a certain finger to the Jesus character up in here. I co-sign that. I am designer 23. How you doing? It says they need to stop taking. Or you mean talking the funk? Okay. Joven says you should have seen Lyin Bryan with the audacity to show up in Africa Town right after the betrayal. The smugness was wild AF because they normally could do that. They'll say, oh, well, you know, I would have if I could have, but guess what? We're going to try again. We're going to go back to the table and, you know, because there was some things in there that we really just didn't like. So we're going to try to fine tune it, but don't you worry. We're going to get it done. But y'all was like, hey, I don't even know if he even got a chance to say any of that. I mean, I heard that, what was her name? Lori Wilson. She was a chair at the time. She was the one that said, oh, it's a multi-year study after all. That's like, who died and made you determine what Black Americans, descendants of slavery there in California, how long they should wait? I thought that's what y'all was doing. Now you've determined along with your homies, oh, it's a multi-year study. Have y'all heard them say anything else about it at all, other than that whackness that got vetoed by Newsom? They ain't really talking about that. They doing other stuff, you know. Arthur, how you doing? Says we should come from amongst them and be separate. Yes, indeed. Sunlight says that's what I don't get is why these sellouts get gang support. What is the trade-off? That's what I want to know too, right? I don't know. Do they know like what's really going on? I don't know. Is he gang affiliated or was he? I don't know. It doesn't seem like the type. Maybe I'm wrong. Albie Chill, how you doing? Says Van Jones is a chump. Let Vivek, why you spell that man name like that? Vivek Ramaswamy check him in front of everyone, and his voice was soft and cracking under pressure. I didn't see that, but that's crazy. Nicey Girl says the well-to-do Black Californians don't care about the less fortunate Black people collective. Yeah, they will when they leave up out of here. You know, they go on to glory. And then all of their legacy is gone or given to somebody else. See, that's what they should care about. If you don't care about it for you, care about it for the generations after you, you know, because that's what everybody else does. You know, don't just be concerned with your piece of the pie right now. Get enough pie so you can pass it down to other generations. So, yeah, I know, Sunlight. I ain't got no sense. Joey says, yeah, Lyin, Bryan hires gangbangers to intimidate naysayers, but ain't nobody fazed by that. It's still Black power. Yeah, so I mean, but why though? Why would you want to get gangbangers? And my thing is, it's just like someone you like just oxymorons going on here. Ain't you an assemblyman? Aren't you supposed to be above? You know, no shade to gangbangers. You know, I know some, but aren't you supposed to be above the fray? So why would you have, I get to have them there, but you have them there to intimidate people who are just wanting honest answers? Well, that sounds disingenuous. You know, what are you, a mobster or something? Like, what is this about? And just keep it real. I would prefer if politicians say, listen, I don't care about y'all. I mean, you know, earthly good. I will never do anything for you at all. Specifically, now, if you get something, it's going to be because of the crumbs that fell off the table for everybody else, but I don't want to do anything for you. I can respect that. Then I know how to go, but you bring in gangbangers, you know, to intimidate people who just want to know why you sold them up the river. See, people need to hear about that kind of stuff. And those gangbangers just like, hey, he don't care about you either. Because if you get caught up in some funky stuff or whatever, is he going to be there at your hearing or whatever? Say, hey, man, let him go. They work for me. He going to act like he don't know them. It's crazy to me. Or you say he loves the civil rights crowd, and I bet they love him too, right? You also say we call it the taste of sold out. That's sad. I haven't been, I think the last time I went, 2018, I think it was, when I think that was like one of the last times I went. But that's too bad, actually. Darren, you say flip California red, don't do that. I mean, I'm not saying that it should be red. I just think it should be, how about purple? We don't know which way it'll go. You know, that's the way it should be. I think all states should be purple. Joven says billion for state assembly. Yes, indeed. Lawrence, how you doing? Says bills for billionaire buddies. I think you meant buddies, not the other thing he said. Buddies. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to make sure. Yeah, because I heard about that too, right? Who is it? Somebody owns the SoFi Stadium or something like that. They changed the rules to where they can drink later than, I guess, what is it, 2:00 last call for alcohol type of thing. Close my blinds because the sun is about to come up in here. Yeah, they bent the rules for him. So he and his homies could be drinking up in there after hours. So yeah, that kind of stuff. But a lot of people don't know they did that. And they should know that that's how they get down. They'll bend the rules for them, obviously, right? They got money and stuff. But nothing for you commoners. But see, the other part of that too is if he's getting the rules bent for him, then that's when the people should say, well, we don't want to give you any more money. We want to attend your events or any of that other stuff, right? But we ain't there yet. Yes, Queen says, so you're talking to Darren, and Darren says, I've been independent for 15 years. And, you know, we strive to be like you. I've been that for, I don't know, about 8 or so, you know. So we all should strive to be like you, independent. Because independent means that you're independently thinking. You're looking at the ballot to see who is for what and this, that, the other. Look at their track record and all that. That's what independent means. I can think for myself. I don't need nobody to tell me to vote blue no matter who, or it's MAGA or whatever they are now. American First Party, they tripping over there. But yeah, you should be able to think for yourself and make an informed decision, right? And Brandy said the Bloods and Crips, let's say the Bloods and Crips were bribed and didn't know there was a deal. Okay, so yeah, they need to know, right? You also say one of them came to me afterwards on December 22nd and asked why we chased him out the park. Says, so they just are ignorant of the facts. So I'm so glad that y'all are just enlightening everybody. They need to know that, like, you don't need to be protecting him. Why does he need protection amongst his own people? What did he do? Why is he afraid? Why is he threatened? You know what I mean? That needs to be the conversation. You know, because again, like I said, whether you a blood or a crip, he don't mean you know earthly good. He gonna romp and stomp and crash out for illegal immigrants. He'll never do that for them. You know? So yeah. Let's see. Extreme says, he's talking to Mike and Sunlight. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brandon says, Taste of Soul rather, is a good event, but they eliminated the hip hop stage, so they are bougie for that, or bougie. Yeah, they all walks of life go to the Taste of Soul. I never really stay long enough for the concerts and stuff because I go like see what there is to eat and say hello to everybody. My dad, you know, FOI Frugal Islam, so he was on post a lot, so that I would go there and see him and all of that. But yeah, they need to make it inclusive for everybody because everybody shows up there. Jovan says the gangbangers didn't know what he was doing until after the fact, and I'm so glad that they know now. Right? I'm so glad that they know he doesn't need protection from his own people. If he walking righteous amongst the people and he's doing right amongst the people, what you need all that for? Call the police and all that on your own people? See, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be shouted from the mountaintop. Hey, he'll call the police on you if you show up and ask him a question. Y'all not threatening him. I've never seen a video of y'all threatening him or none of that stuff. He's a public figure. You guys have the right to hold him accountable. But he gonna call the police on you or get people to intimidate you because you're trying to hold him accountable. See, people need to know that. They need to know that's how he gets down, old coward. You know? You say, but it's still underhanded and shows what he thinks about us. Yep. You say flip it purple. Plantation swapping ain't the solution. Totally flip it purple. Team Truth, how you doing? Albie Chill says Savvy Savs is releasing her documentary Removed on her page at 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's about our people being removed, erased from Boston. I'd love to check it out. Intuitively Wise, how you doing? Says I'm beginning to think Democrats are connected to the dope trade. Says if they are attached to gangs, I mean, all of that is probably, I say possible, right? Allegedly possible. There's a lot of things we don't know about these parties. I'm sure the things that we would learn would blow our minds. You know what I mean? So yeah. Bro Goo in the building. How you doing? Says, hey, Demetra, our people need to get on cold, come together and vote as a block. Democrats are blue, Republicans are red, and our colors should be purple. Independent thinkers rise up. Hey, Ronald, thank you so much. And I love you. In fact, I got to get out of here. So y'all stay tuned for the next contributors that are coming up, all the wonderful things. Once again, thank you to African Town Coalition for all that you do and keeping us abreast of what is going on. And as I said, as long as y'all, you know, send me stuff. And Brandon, I'm actually have to give you my number because I'm not always on Instagram. I rarely go to my inboxes. I just couldn't sleep last night. And I said, oh, let's see who's been trying to contact me. And I just happened to see that you did. But I have to give you my number so that you can reach me right away directly. And I can continue to report on these things. Because as I said, when this happened, I was going to make it my mission, as long as I have a platform to speak on, to let everybody know what the California Legislative Black Caucus did to Black Californians who were hoping that we would get some relief or something, right? And they just completely, they didn't even drop the ball. They never picked it up. So yes, everybody should always know about what they did. They should never be able to go anywhere and not have that brought to their attention. Not just Isaac Bryan, but all of them. They all should be ran up on, obviously respectable, right? As your they're public servants. It's your right to do that. They should always be questioned. It should never be, well, we forgive you. It's okay. We know you meant well. Nah, you always gonna have to answer for this. Or at least we always gonna ask you. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I won't be here again until Tuesday, but I'll be back on my show Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Time on YouTube, the Demetra Kaye Show. Again, if you have not gotten the app, African Diaspora News Channel app, please go to your Play Store on your phone and download it. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. In the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your week. Peace.